The latest coronavirus case numbers for Louisiana have just come in. There are now almost 22,000 cases in the state. We're also reporting an additional 90 deaths. That's a smaller number than yesterday. And as the governor often reminds us, that number is lagging a bit. It's not the actual number of deaths that we've seen in a 24-hour span. Right now, 1,943 patients are in the hospital. That's also less than the number of hospitalized patients yesterday, and 425 of those patients are on ventilators. Essence Fest has now officially canceled this year's annual event in New Orleans. It comes after Mayor LaToya Cantrell recommended that no large events take place in the city this year at all. Organizers posted this alert on their website saying they would no longer move forward with the 2020 Essence Festival of Culture live experience and that they look forward to returning to New Orleans in 2021. Tickets already purchased will be honored for the 2021 date here in New Orleans, or you can get a refund. You should contact Ticketmaster if you do want to get a refund. New drive-thru COVID-19 testing sites open today for people who live in the river parishes. The drive-thru site is in St. Charles Parish at Hanville High School. It actually just closed a few minutes ago for the day, but it will reopen tomorrow from 8 a.m. until noon, and that'll actually be every day during those times. Any Louisiana resident over the age of 18 can show up, but you must have your ID. There's another drive-thru testing location in St. James Parish. That's located at Gramercy Elementary School. This site was only open to first responders and seniors 66 years old and older today, but tomorrow it's open to everyone 18 and older from 8 a.m. until noon. And once again, cars lined up around the block as people went to get much needed food during this time. In partnership with the Second Harvest Food Bank and the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club, among other organizations, New Orleans City Council member Jay Banks hosted another free drive-up food pantry for residents affected by the pandemic. This one was at the Goodwill located on Tulane Avenue. The New Orleans City Council is holding its first public meeting right now through video teleconference. This is the first meeting of the council since mid-March. The council says virtual sessions will help them practice social distancing and also help gain more public engagement during the pandemic. The meeting is live streaming on the City Council's website. The United States government is making preparations for the time when people will be allowed back into society. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Other states. It's going to be very, very close, maybe even before the date of May 1st.
The federal government is working on strategies to reopen the country. The Washington Post obtained a draft proposal of CDC and FEMA guidance for state and local governments. The agencies are recommending that first, there's confidence infection rates are, quote, genuinely low, and the health system has the capacity to handle a new surge of cases, and that there's a well-functioning system to test and trace patients.
They're diagnosed, and then they're isolated, and then their contacts are traced. That's going to be fundamental. This outbreak got beyond containment this time. We need to get it back, so the containment's an important part of our overall strategy.
CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield says some elements of social distancing will remain in place until there are medical developments such as a vaccine. It's state governors who will ultimately decide when to reopen their communities, and the president is expected to speak to the governors this week about their plans.
I will then be authorizing each individual governor of each individual state to implement a reopening.
Tuesday, the president also said he's suspending funding to the World Health Organization while reviewing its response to the pandemic.
It's $830 million plus over the last 2 years, and all we needed was the truth in return.
The United Nations issued a statement saying now is not the time to reduce the resources of any organization fighting the virus. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And a decision on whether the U.S. resumes funding to the World Health Organization will be made after the review, which President Trump says will last 60 to 90 days. On Wall Street today, stocks have been in the red after investors saw more signs of just how severely this coronavirus outbreak is damaging the economy. You can see right now the Dow is down nearly 500 points. In his bid for the White House, former Vice President Joe Biden has now won the support of another key former campaign rival. Senator Elizabeth Warren today became the latest prominent Democrat to endorse Biden. The announcement came in a video posted online. Warren suspended her own White House campaign in early March after failing to win any of the early primary contests. and finishing third in her home state of Massachusetts.